Morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining us today for another unpopular Black Gamer review of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. This time we are doing episode 7. What is Starfleet? Question mark. As always, I'm joined with my boy Patrick. Patrick, say hello, sir.
I want to do something special because I'm like here. I'm like here. Like I'm in the room where it happens.
So I was going to point this out. So Patrick is back at home where we all grew up, at my house here because it is his birthday weekend. Happy
Yay!
birthday, Patrick!
Thank you. Thank you. I
And,
feel good.
and he was gracious enough to say, you know what? I still want to do the episode breakdown for this weekend. So we chose Still Sunday
Yep.
to record, and he's over at my house, so we are side by side using the same mic.
And it is interesting to do
It
this
is.
in the in the same space. I'm so not used to it because usually I'm like in my house clothes,
Yeah,
glasses on, just ate some sushi, like.
yeah.
But yeah, it's like a totally different feel with you actually like being here. Um,
I probably didn't ate some Mexican food that Tiffany wanted,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and
Which, by the way, you're supposed to show me that menu.
oh yeah, I'm gonna give you that video. Yeah, I'm gonna give you that video. we completely forgot about that. See, it's how
Totally
it's
forgot
like.
about it. Yeah.
But we are here to review Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, Episode 7. This is a very interesting episode, and I'm not saying that in a terrible way, at least from my standpoint.
Yeah.
Um, the direction that they decided to go with this episode, I am here for it.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
100%.
my biggest thing, especially with how it started off, like I immediately pegged that it was going to be more of a documentary, and that this was the what's his name, Beto.
Beto
Yeah,
Ortegas. Yeah.
Beto Ortegas is like this was the playoff from introducing him
Yeah.
in the series earlier within the season. So I didn't know that they were going to go this route where having a full blown episode like showing his documentary style, because I'm pretty sure he has like more footage than just what was shown in this particular
Yeah.
episode.
So we should talk about that for a second because he's introduced during the episode
Mm-hmm.
where Trelane, or maybe Trelane's a Q, or maybe they confirm Trelane's a Q. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and he's there for that. He's also there for the episode where uh, Nurse Gamble, uh,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. He got unalived. Yes.
kind of, he got
No, no,
kind of
no, no,
unalived.
no, Patrick.
He
Patrick.
might have gotten unalived.
No, no, he is unalived, Patrick.
His current state is unalive,
You're still in the whole influx
but
here. You're like me with Gambit from X Men. All right, all right. Spoiler alert for those who haven't watched X Men '97. All right,
what is wrong with you? You
what is
haven't.
wrong with you? I am a true Gambit fan. That is my favorite X Men. The fact that he passed away, like it. I was down for a minute.
In the most epic part of the series.
Oh, he went out like a G.
It was amazing.
He went. If he was going out, that's the way that he should go
But I
out.
can confirm for a solid 6 weeks, over a month after that, the series had to end
Yeah,
before
yeah.
the unpopular Black Gamer re-engaged with it. Even though I was like, and just more behind the scenes, he was hanging out uh,
I was in Atlanta.
in Atlanta that
I was
weekend.
in Atlanta.
And I was like, we were watching the episodes because he was late to the episode. And I was like, we must get. He left right after we got done with the episode where I was like, all right, I got to get back. And I'm like, well, I wonder how this is going to go down.
Right? Like literally, like 5 minutes before his Gambit's epic battle where he got unalive. That's where I stopped. and I was like, man, okay, I was there for the weekend. I had to make it back home, so I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I need to get back to Tennessee. I'm out. All
Yeah.
right. So drove all the way back, got situated, like good, like kissed the wife, like back at home, like debrief for her and everything. Then I was like, I gotta finish this episode. Then I finished the episode, and I
Yeah.
was so pissed.
So I'm not quite like that for Gamble. I just, I just think I think it'd be cool if he came back because they set it up, but we'll see if they pay it off.
Gamble's done. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The only thing that we're gonna see in a future episode is that the entity that possessed Gamble is the one that's in the computer. That's going to be the payoff from that. That's what I think is going to occur. Now, would that be the season finale, or would
Or
that
is he
be
even
some,
in this season?
or it
Yeah.
might be a season 4 plot point?
Yeah.
That's something true. So
We'll find out.
we'll speculate on that more. But today we're talking about episode 7, and episode 7. Whoo!
So there was an episode of The West Wing. I don't know if you watched that show or not.
Mm-hmm.
But there's an episode of The West Wing that's a documentary episode, and I also clocked it immediately that I was like, when they came up with like um, the Starfleet like kind of opening screen, and
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
talking
When
about
they did
the Freedom of Information
yeah,
Act, which is a real thing that makes it from America to
yes,
to the Federation. Hopefully, not too many current American. Well, never. I'm not gonna get political.
which
I'm not gonna get political.
which is what I thought. I probably thought that was the most interesting part because this episode starts off clearly with the talking about the Information Act, the Freedom
Yep.
of Information Act, excuse me. And as soon as it started off like that, as a person that loves documentaries,
Mm-hmm.
I love documentaries. Like
Yeah.
I can't stress this enough how much I love documentaries. Um, as soon as that started, I was like, "Oh, this is a documentary!" Like immediately was
Yeah.
like, "This is a documentary," because that's how a lot of them start off at. It starts with a nice quote to start the, what they're going to discuss within it.
And it's super cool because we get to be civilians for the first time.
Yes,
Usually we're in on
yes,
everything. We know all the confidential information that's being broadcast, which comes up later because there's like a conversation with
mm-hmm,
April, or
mm-hmm.
yeah, it's April. There's a conversation with April that comes up later that we can't hear, and it's like we're so used to knowing every side of this as to the point where we, as fans, like put ourselves in as Starfleet
Yeah, because
officers.
normally we would get that
Yeah,
exposition from that conversation.
yeah, but even in this episode, Pike's like, "This is classified." We get
Yeah,
redacted communications,
yeah,
and it's like, "Oh, I'm watching this like if I was watching a real life military
mm-hmm,
documentary
mm-hmm.
where they went on. They don't do this, but like where they went on like a mission with like the SEALs or something like that, you know." So,
Which was my biggest thing about this episode, Patrick, because
hmm
we're so used to. I mean, as I think back of all the episodes of Star Trek that I've watched over my lifetime, we've never had a episode it where they did it in a way that we didn't see everything. I mean,
exactly,
granted, like there's certain situations, like in certain episodes, where they're like keep certain pieces of information from you just for like
for
a
the
shock
plot,
value or
yeah,
a plot value like
yeah,
thing. Like that's different. But this time it was like certain big pieces of exposition, like they wanted you to not they wanted you to not know what was said
yeah,
then, so you can like kind of piece your own information. But like that's how a lot of documentaries are in certain situations depending on the documentist, like and how they gathered that particular piece of information, and if it was either on like camera or if it was an audio recording or so on and so forth. So you kind of like you kind of like draw your own conclusion in a
yeah,
way.
exactly. it really draws you into the mystery because there's just so much to figure
Hmm.
out more than the typical episode. It's more than just like the here's the plan goes wrong, we see
Yeah,
the heroes be heroes, and then we see them resolve. It's like, okay, really, what is happening? What are we supposed to be doing? And
and is this moral?
yeah,
What's the morality to these in these instructions? Not instructions. These orders that were given.
yeah,
Um, and and I felt like, I mean, granted, like we're gonna go more into the episode, but like just giving you the exposition at the beginning, I felt like this was a good way of showing the audience how a civilian would look at Starfleet in this day and age. Uh, because you don't fully know what they do on a day to day basis unless you are on a starship or and
yeah.
like
It's the same way we look at the military and
yes,
things like that, especially during times of, well, when are we? Oh, I'm not gonna get political, but we've been in a lot of conflicts recently in my lifetime. And so we have this relationship where it's like, I'm not quite sure what the military does day by
mm-hmm,
day, but
mm-hmm,
I need to, as someone who's being represented by that military, even though I'm not in the military, like they're supposed to be upholding our values. Like it's supposed to mean something where they
yeah,
go somewhere. And if you don't know what that is, then and you don't know how they're upholding it, then it's just a big mystery. And so like it makes sense that this episode would happen or this like a Starfleet documentary would happen because if you're a Federation citizen, it's like yeah, like I need to know what Starfleet's up to, especially and of course we have a Lost episode where we discuss this, especially if they're supposed to be an exploration or sold to you as an exploration outfit, but it's kind of a military and like things like that. It's like, well, what do these people actually
yeah.
do? Like you need to know if you're going to be in a free society that transparency is necessary.
I mean, to piggyback off of what Patrick was discussing there, we had a court episode where we discussed. It was me, Patrick, and Kumla being the judge
Hmm.
of that episode. Like, unfortunately, for some crazy reason, YouTube did not save that. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I'm
Hopefully,
hoping saving this. I checked. I hopped in to view it, so hopefully we're good here.
it's making us worried about certain future episodes that we have, but like that was a huge episode that we did because we were starting off um our court episode series, and now I'm gonna have to find a way to redo that in a way that is good. But the main thing that we talked about was is Star Trek, I mean not Star Trek, is Starfleet um a military organization,
Yeah,
and I was on the side of defending them, saying that they were not, and Patrick was on the side of saying like, yeah, they definitely are.
yeah. Dante took the
I
harder
I
argument,
did take the harder argument in
and I don't know
hindsight.
why he did.
In hindsight, granted, because and I told Patrick that it was because I believed in that side more, and with him going to school for law,
Being a
he
lawyer,
he
practiced law.
he told me that that was the best way to do that.
I was like, you should definitely give me until you. But to your credit, since then you've been like researching debate styles and things like that. So
I
like,
have, I
yeah,
have. It made me after that. It made me rethink of how to go at things like that, and then I like realized that a lot of times when you're a lawyer, y'all use a lot of debate tactics
yeah,
within, like not pure. It's not purely your debate, but y'all use some of those tactics within it. So it would behoove me to
yeah.
learn those debate tactics.
Which, by the way, especially now that I get to say it to your face, you did a great job in the last
I
episode.
don't
Like I,
think I did though.
well, but that's part of the process. Like
Yeah,
my
yeah,
first arguments in school, like
yeah.
I didn't feel like I did great, but I did do fine. Like it's just when you're,
It's a practice thing. It's like
yeah,
over time you get better at it.
and also understanding when you have the tougher argument. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, I'm
yeah.
gonna take a bunch of punches in this. So what can I do to make the best of it? Like, it's the job
Hmm.
some days to do that. So like, yeah, you
I,
took the tougher argument, and I thought you did well with it. So
I mean, thinking about how I interact with my job day to day. There is like some basis of realism there.
yeah,
So like I will tell myself like this is a like if I come across a situation that isn't normal, I will tell myself this is not a normal situation that I normally take care of on a day to
yeah,
day
exactly.
basis. There are going to be some nuances with
Yeah,
getting this taken care of. So it's going to take me longer. So I do prep myself mentally to say this is not going to be something that I can take care of in 5-10 minutes.
yeah.
This is probably going to be a longer drawn out situation. So I think it would have been better for me in that area to like identify that I have the hardest point to defend, and
Or at least listen to me when I told you that.
I'll accept that.
I was definitely before that episode
You
like,
did, you did.
let me
Uh,
take the other side of
I can't
this.
I I can't refute that. That you did, you did. Um,
Uh,
so like, granted, I'm saying this all to say
oh yeah, that's right.
that
Why are we talking about
future court episodes
that?
will be better and hopefully they will be recorded. But that episode we did discuss,
A major theme of this episode.
yes,
Yeah.
a major theme of this episode. We kept pointing that out as we were watching this episode.
Well,
So,
Beto opens in his narration with his
mhm.
opening question is like, is what's the difference between the Federation and an empire? Which is even a
Yeah.
higher level question than whether Starfleet's a military organization. And it's something they cover in DS9 too, right?
Yeah.
Like Garrick and Quark have
Yeah.
like a pretty lengthy conversation in the episode where the Cardassians and the Dominion are about to come retake the station. They're kind of like, because I think they talk about the Federation being like root beer or something like that, where it's like bubbly and tasty, but like then you start liking it, and then they're around, and it's like, did I just get taken over, or
Okay, so
did I?
you're mixing two episodes.
Oh, I am.
You're
Okay.
mixing two, and the only reason
Well,
why I
you're in
know
the
this,
middle of your rewatch.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the only reason why I watched it because I just watched the episode, like
Oh,
literally
okay.
just watched the episode this week. It was the episode when the Klingons were attacking the Cardassians, and the Defiant went to help the Cardassian government.
They have that conversation in that
They had
episode.
that conversation in that one.
Oh, okay.
I would have done the same thing. I would have complained the same. I would have remembered it. I should say
The
at the
same
same
way.
time, the
Okay.
same way. But like it was in that episode where they talked about where Garrick was talking to well, I can't think of his name.
Quark.
Quark,
Mm-hmm.
and Quark was just like, drink this, and it was root beer. He drank that. He was like,
Oh,
you
that
are
is right.
revolting.
You're right.
It,
Yeah.
it, it was that episode. Oh, like I said, the only reason why I know that because I just watched.
Which is funny
watched
because that's
it.
like my one of my favorite episodes of DS9. So I
It's a
should have
great
just gone.
episode.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
like I said, difference between I've rewatched it and like you haven't done the full rewatch yet.
Yeah. I need to kick off some rewatches. I don't know what I'm doing with my summers.
Which I'm glad you said that because we are going to start a series where we rewatch the Star Trek series from the beginning, TOS, God bless us, to TNG, which we both grew up on and like ignited our love for Star Trek, to DS9, Voyager, so on and so
Yep.
forth. So we are going to have these moments where we're going to be able to talk about those specific episodes. And also, not only one of the main things that makes me excited for this particular series is that we're going to talk about like how we felt about that episode now, but we can also remember how we felt as a young boy watching that episode for the first time
Yeah.
and how we felt about it. So like that's going to be interesting, and I will let y'all know like to please tune in for that within the future series that we have coming up.
Yeah. But one thing that's kind of funny in the opening montage, which now that I'm thinking on that opening montage that
Mm-hmm.
Beto put together, uh, I guess fictional Beto put together. Y'all hang with me. I know that it's fiction. The opening
It's
montage.
it's hard because this is like it's a fictional show doing a
Yeah,
documentary
exactly.
series, so it's like almost like a show within a show.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I did ask you before the show. Um, we had gone 2 weeks back to back with the red shirts getting unalived.
I forgot about that.
And
Oh.
I was like, "You think there are going to be other red shirts unalive?" And you're basically like, "It doesn't seem like it's going to be that type of episode." Within the first 2 minutes, like 3 or 4 red shirts just get
Unalive, unalive, like instantly, and
right off the bat.
we both like just started crying, laughing, like.
Well, we caught it on the second one because we watched it happen, and then I was like, "Oh, what was it?" We watched the episode
Yeah.
together, just y'all. And if it wouldn't have been a major copyright violation, we probably should have just live reacted to it. To be honest
That
with
would
you,
have actually been great if it
but
went for copyright.
they would have struck the
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
MF out of that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They would have sent the lawyers to this house.
All of a sudden, we was just heard. We was just heard.
Sir.
Oh yeah, yeah. Unpopular black gamer. Unpopular gamer. That's me. I'm the unpopular black gamer.
We're gonna be taking all this equipment out of here. No, you can't have it back. So yeah, we watched it, and then I rewound to catch the question about Federation versus Empire, and then on that's when we both started busting out laughing because it's like, oh, the red shirts again, just random red shirt. We don't even get their names this week.
Random, like we no name, no nothing. He was just off.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think it was like 2 or 3 of them. Yeah. Okay, let's see. We got so we're a little bit different. I don't have my iPad, iPhone combination I usually go with.
yeah, so y'all will have to forgive us. We are doing things since how we're all at my home, making this podcast. We are doing things just a little bit different, and we don't have everything together like we normally would, but we do have things to a point that we can make this a cohesive episode.
Yeah.
So,
We've also had a lot more fun hanging out.
oh
So
yeah, 100%.
anything we lose in episode organization, we don't care about because we had more fun
Don't
in
care.
the meantime. So
100%.
yeah, if you mad, be mad, I guess.
So we got somewhat of a breakdown, right? That we can
Yeah,
run
so
through, that we have to like muddle together.
yeah, I so behind the scenes, we asked Perplexity AI to just give us the best chronological order that we can because I'm not sure if you noticed, anytime we come across these great episodes, the in memory alpha folks are just
They
a
are
little bit
slow.
slow on
Yeah.
the.
Yeah.
I'm gonna describe it as a refractory period.
You're
If
like,
you,
oh my god, it was such a good episode. Oh my god, it was such a good episode. Oh, I have to rewatch it like 8 times before I can do a review on it. Before I can even put this up on memory after I like, oh yes.
yeah, the episode that shall not be named that was up like 2 minutes after the
Oh,
episode.
I'm pretty sure that was up like expeditiously after that episode was even given to us. So
Yeah, but one thing we do need to say about Beto is that, and maybe this will come up a little bit again later, but like he was introduced as a love interest during the Trelane Q episode, and then during the episode where they were trapped in that like dangerous escape room that unalive potentially Gamble.
no, stop saying potentially. He's gone. Let it go.
A potentially unalive Gamble.
Let it go.
He did show. I was thinking about it. He did show a little bit more calm under pressure than I expected.
Did.
Which should have been a tip off to me that there was more to this character. And then
You're right.
he was in another episode where Pelia played to the camera, and he was kind of presented as the comedic relief. So what he does in this episode, to me, is a bit of like a. We'll get to it, but it's a bit of a like, oh, Beto's a dude out here.
I look at it as like having a friend that's a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, like we don't have friends that's journalists, so I'm like,
I indeed do have a friend that's a journalist.
You do. Okay, I don't. Then this is pure speculation on my part.
Okay.
I look at it as like having a friend that's a journalist, and you fully not knowing when he or she is being a journalist,
Yeah,
and when they are not being such.
yeah, that happens in the episode for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Pike meets with the senior officers. What Perplexity is not capturing here is because it's very different because the cameras or stuff there. Pike meets with the senior officers about their aid mission with the Lutani. Oh, we gotta talk about the Kassar and Lutani.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it seems like the Kassar, according to my notes, um, let's see here. What did I? It is a effing genocide. Or can
Yes.
I say genocide on YouTube?
I don't know.
It is
Whatever.
a effing genocide.
Side. Yeah.
So we learned that the Karas have unalived 9 million Latani, while
Hmm.
the Latani have fought back and unalived 119,000 Karas.
It was a stark number, and it's like right when they showed that, that was immediately when I was like, so is this about uh, everything that's going over in Gaza right now?
Yeah, yeah. The So I think where we get with the final disposition of the episode, because they introduce a couple of other themes
Hmm.
that I think take it away from that. But I think if, and who knows when they film this because it's been 2 years in the making.
That's true.
Yeah, so like maybe they didn't totally know there was going to be a situation.
Right now,
uh,
literally right now.
where do you keep the soapbox in this place? I need to stand
Oh,
on business
I'm
real
sorry.
quick.
That's the there are four lights moments. So we haven't got to that yet.
Okay, I'll stay off the soapbox. Let's say there's a potential parallel drawn, but I don't think they completely get there. But they do set up that the Kassar are completely wiping out,
Hmm.
geociting the Lutani.
Like by a large amount.
Yeah, large magnitude. Um, wow. Before we even get there, there's a couple of notes that I had. I don't know if you caught this, but I don't know much about direction, right? Like I
Hmm.
haven't been to film school, but it seems like the cameras that they show. Also, I don't have a TV that's as great as yours, so maybe that's another thing. But it seems like the cameras and like the staging of shots, the close-ups, what they were using, like it made it feel more granular and real than the like we could see like the pores on their faces and
Yeah.
things like that. Like this was like a very different looking episode of Star Trek. Like I don't like
Yeah.
it was almost like they weren't wearing makeup in some places. Like the uniforms didn't look as flashy. Like it was very like you were there
So
there.
so they definitely were wearing makeup.
Okay.
They definitely were. The biggest thing with doing a documentary style uh, episode and then like having uh, ultra high definition TVs like we do, uh, whether it be 1080p, 2K, 4K, like when they do those close ups, you can see everything, like
Yeah.
literally everything.
But I feel like they never really did that in
No,
other yeah.
you talking about like just in Star Trek, or you talking about documentaries?
In Star Trek, like how they
Hmm.
made this episode
Hmm.
much more different than the typical episode of Star Trek. Like one of the things they did was it feels like it took the veneer off of it, like the colorful freewheeling veneer that we usually have on an episode where everything looks so smooth and
Hmm.
like colorful and flashy and stuff. It's just like this is Pike's face if you saw Pike in real life, like
Yeah,
and saw him as a
yeah.
real person, and not if you saw him as like a glamorized, lens flared, you know what I'm saying, like artistic version
I see.
of
I see exactly where you're going with this. My only thing is in real life, seeing the person, like, yeah, you can kind of sort of see those imperfections there, but you don't see them to that detail, to that fine.
well, and I
It
think
was almost like a
yeah.
magnifying glass, like,
I mean, it was a bunch of
yeah,
close-ups in here, and I
yeah.
think that was intentional to make it
It was
feel like a more tangible, tactile episode
it
of Star
it
Trek
was
than
definitely
usual.
an artistic direction that they
Yeah,
decided to go in to just show how This isn't your typical episode. That this is something different than what they were doing
Yeah,
in the past.
and they had some other introductory, the just going over some stuff that Perplexity skipped. They had some other introductory interviews where like Spock was talking about that self harm he did to himself when
I
he
forgot
was
about that.
like,
Yeah,
really hating his human side.
yeah,
They had they go back to Ortegas a couple times in the motorcycle or the space motorcycle shop, whatever that is
what?
that she
Yeah,
has.
what was she working on? Was that like?
I thought it was a motorcycle at first, but it has like a jet engine on it. So
Yeah,
like I don't know what it was exactly to be honest with you, but it looked like the kind of like toolbox shelves that you'd see in a
yeah.
car thing that she was working on.
However, I don't want to overlook the whole Spock when he was talking about his human side. So, like, this would be probably one of the first times that you would, chronologically, I should say, this would be one of the first times that Spock actually talked about his human side and how much he truly didn't like that side of him.
Yeah,
It's almost like in real life of somebody getting bullied about a part of them that they can't change.
yeah,
For me, like unfortunately, like I was bullied when I was younger, but it was for me being more so of a nerd, being too smart, things of that concern.
yeah.
So
Well, and me being like a bigger person, like I've always
yeah,
gotten that in my life. Yeah,
yeah. So um, it it showed a part of Spock like how he was growing up dealing with the parts of him that he can't change.
yeah,
Like, and that's one of the main things that's the hardest for young children when they are when they are trying to move past a certain like part of bullying that like gets to them and these people talk about stuff that they can't even change and it's how do you go home with that like how do you go home and just be at peace with the fact of something like that kids keep talking about you every day at school for something that like you're just being you.
well, for Spock, he resolves it in the episode because it's a motivation for him to join Starfleet, is to be able to make peace with that side of himself, with his human side. So, how you do it in real life, you gotta have, I think, good parents and good friends.
Yeah, yeah.
like,
I mean,
like
ultimately,
I think that's what you gotta have.
and it's worse now because of social media. We
Oh my
didn't have
god,
social
I
media
don't
like
know
that when we were
what.
growing up. I think it would have been far worse for me if like social media was a thing when we were growing up. Like,
Well, social media, and we're gonna sound like
no, we're gonna sound old.
geriatrics,
Yeah,
but yeah, social media and camera phones were not a
they weren't a
thing.
thing.
So like, yeah, like, and then having other people in your school
Mm-hmm.
join in on the bullying, maybe not even realizing that they're
Mm-hmm.
bullying you. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm glad I didn't have to go through it. And, if
In
one
this
day,
age,
yeah,
yeah.
if one day, if Christina Chong comes on and becomes my wife, maybe our kids will go through it. But like, I'll deal with it then. I say that because I have a note here that just says, "Damn,"
Oh, so
and
that
it
was.
just says "La'an" afterwards.
Oh, okay. At least you gave yourself context as to why you were saying
Yeah.
it.
Not to undercut your very serious point about like how to get over bullying, which I think they're opening that storyline up for Spock.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, it was rough listening to his story, and he delivered it in the very Spock.
Hmm.
This is what I did, merit out of fact kind of way. But it was just like I did lead that the self-loathing leads to self-harm, and I'm just like, ah, man, I wish somebody. Well,
I feel,
maybe Amanda Grayson gave Spock a hug after that, but like
but I feel like they do need to lean more into that. Like that would be a powerful
it's
episode
much
if
more
they.
interesting than his situationship.
I would wholeheartedly agree. I would wholeheartedly agree, and I put the situationship in my notes at a certain part in this episode. So, yeah. Spoiler alert.
Absolutely. Yeah, so there was all these like little like mini interviews at the start of the episode, and
Yeah.
they all kind of had the tone of like because Laan and her damn moment and the all leather uh, range scene, which I'm like, does she dress like that? That off duty? Any whoosably. I'm gonna stop. Y'all know I have a parasocial celebrity crush that I'm only able to control because I'm a mature adult.
She is
Uh,
gorgeous.
yeah,
She is gorgeous. Like that's nothing else to say there. She is just a really beautiful woman. Not only that, like how she portrays this character is it's hard for me to see any other actor or actress portraying this character in this particular way.
yeah,
Like she has owned this character from the beginning.
yeah. She's done a great job. That's
like
why I wish the one bad episode wasn't like all of her development or
she
most of
came
her
in on
development.
season 2, right? She wasn't in season 1. I'm trying to
No, she was in
remember.
season one.
Was she in season 1?
Yeah, she just
Like,
didn't
'cause
play a big part in it. Well, I mean, she was a main character in season one, but I don't think she had like any meaningful arcs in it. If I'm not like they, because they introduce her like Gorn, which they harken back to in this episode.
okay, so yeah, you're right. She was in season 1. You're right.
Yeah, but they introduce her like Gorn issues in season one, and they brought it up today because because
Hmm.
Beto asked her like, um, if you had to unalive an enemy beforehand, if it were the Gorn before you got to
Hmm.
know them, like would you be okay with it? And she had to like give an answer because all these early interviews are establishing that like, because I think the outcome of our core episode was really like, yeah, okay, Starfleet's a military, but it's the kind of military you want. It's trying to do the right thing
Yes.
in every situation.
Yes.
And the way they start the episode, it's like, no, this is a military that just shows up, unalives the whoever needs to be unalived, and then heads to the next place to unalive more people. And he starts with that point at the start of the episode, and all those interviews make them look like that.
Yeah, and even like then they also pointed out like that space is unpredictable.
Yeah,
Like you have no idea of what's going to happen from a day to day, and they also stated well like all hazards, the hazards that occur that's part of the job. Like so, with the unpredictability of space exploration, this is part of the job. The hazards that come along with it. Now, how they react to said hazards is the big deal there. So, like what I was trying to point out with Star Trek, I mean not Star Trek, Starfleet, I should say,
hmm,
not being a military organization is how they would
react
react
exactly.
to those situations. They wouldn't react purely on we need to just go ahead and just like unalive everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
They would like actually take a step back and be like, what's going on here? Why are they being this hostile? So on and so forth, and then try. And granted, like they would protect themselves. Most definitely, they would protect themselves, but they wouldn't go straight to either pure G side or completely unaliving people just for no apparent reason, not without knowing like all
Yeah,
the facts before doing so.
yeah, exactly. Which brings us to the all right, here we go. They said it so many times in the episode.
Hmm.
The Jakaru,
I
the
think that
Jakaru,
yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it.
and I think this is where we start departing from the Middle East
Yeah.
parallels because there's clearly a geocide going on. But then, and I noted this, I put this in my notes. I don't know if you caught it, but when the Jakaru comes out of the containment field from the planet,
Hmm.
and then its own Lutani folks are trying to shoot at it
Hmm.
and blow it up, and then they get wrecked. I started to realize, and also like when they showed the scene where the doctor, the PhD or the Lutani PhD that's like doing this to the Jakaru, um, is expiring because of the radiation poisoning. I started to realize this is also an Oppenheimer situation.
Hmm.
Like they were trying to blow up the Jakaru because they had created a weapon that was massively dangerous, and they couldn't
Oh,
totally control it. So like Oppenheimer just popped right into my mind.
I did not correlate the two. That is a good way of looking at that. This is being a weapon of mass destruction,
Yeah, exactly.
and
What you would do if you were desperate, if
you
you're on
would,
the
you,
losing side of a geocide and you had the
and
opportunity to
you
create a
want to,
super weapon.
and you want to stop the war
Yeah,
as quickly as possible. This is something that you would do,
yeah, easily.
but it was very it, it it was very unethical in how they came up with this particular weapon of mass destruction, and like by that same notion,
Because it's a sentient being that they are
yeah.
controlling with a neural dampener that we learn ends up being a shock collar.
But even Oppenheimer even thought of it as being like, yeah, it was a great scientific advancement, but Oppenheimer, like he didn't he did feel bad for his place within this of being able to create this particular weapon of mass destruction. And I wonder if the people that first attacked it was like part of that team that helped create it.
That's what I thought because they call her Doctor something. So I was
Exactly.
like, oh, these must be the
Exactly.
people that
Mm-hmm.
know what this is
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
So they were
Um,
trying to stop it from being used in the way that they pretty much helped it to
yeah.
be.
Well, and I also wonder, wow, yeah, because we don't have the typical
We don't.
12 to 14 hours to think on this, so it's coming up on the fly. I wonder, given how the episode ends, if they also knew that at a certain point, because there's a third deep theme in this of assisted self unaliving for YouTube purposes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, if they knew that was the thing's wish at a certain point and were trying to do that, but because the neural dampener heightened its aggression and attack
Mm-hmm.
response,
Mm-hmm.
like it just pretty much involuntarily unalived
Yeah,
all of them.
that's
Like,
possible.
yeah, like there's a lot to this
That
episode.
there's a lot. There's layers to this episode.
I feel
Uh,
bad for calling this thing a space butterfly at this point when I didn't know what the name of it was.
don't worry, I call it that too. So a few things that I do want to point out, like what you said earlier, within one of the scenes of this documentary when Spock was like, no, not Spock, La'an was pointing out certain things about their mission. Spock came with like coffee to give to La'an to
What I
point
wrote,
out that subtle, like, hey, we're in a relationship. Hey, just just so y'all know, hey, we're in a no, we're in a
I was about to
situationship.
say, yeah, I'd be clear because what I wrote was Spock in this damn situationship when he handed her the coffee mug.
I probably should have said that. I probably should put that there.
That is my verbatim note.
Also, Uhura, you can tell, like, especially at the beginning of this episode, how how willing she was to interview to Beto than everybody else was. Well,
Yeah,
Uhura and Ortega's,
yeah, exactly.
with that being her brother. So, like, they were more comfortable, I should say, talking to him, especially at the beginning about these things. And then every time you cut to Pike or even Una, like it was like everything was
Or
classified.
Mbanga.
Or Mbanga, especially Mbanga. Good point. Good point. Especially Mbanga. It was like everything was classified. Or like they said it in a way to like throw off that they wasn't lying, but they kind of were. Like it's they did a good job with the actors and like giving them the right words to say in those situations, because I feel like that's how it would be in real life.
Yeah, because I think, and I really wish my journalism friend could watch this and comment on it
Yeah.
because he would know for sure. But I think that's like part of it. You're supposed to use your personal relationships, your professional, and it gets like very
Oh, it
fuzzy.
gets muddled. I can see
Yeah,
that getting very muddled.
and I read a book or listened to an audio book called Tokyo Vice, which I think
Mm-hmm.
is a show on we're not sponsored, but I think it's a show on HBO or whatever they call it. Anyways, and he goes kind of into like how the personal, the professional, and the swinging
Mm.
back and forth to get information, but they're also your friends. But
Mm.
like can get murky, and so I feel like I have a little bit of a grasp of like if you take a step back, does Beto actually act unethical in this episode? And I feel like no, but he definitely risked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
His relationship with his sister and his, I'm gonna call them a situationship because I don't think there's anything on the books there.
Yeah.
If you guys
And,
don't remember, I'm single. Dante is married, so like I'm living through all these flavors of relationship you can be
and
in.
granted, we had this conversation during the episode,
Yeah,
and I called it a relationship. You called it a situationship, and my main reason for calling it a relationship is just it's how she looked at him. It's the way. It's just the look to me tells a lot as to how involved a person can or can't be.
yeah,
Like Spock and Laan, I can clearly state that that is a situationship. But I think that that's a situationship more so with Laan and how she is with getting close to somebody, and then the fact that Spock just got out of this like big deal relationship
yeah.
with Nurse Chapel. So like I see that as a situationship because they don't look at themselves, they don't look at each other like with that. It's a certain just I can't explain it.
Well, but that's the thing about just for me to get on. I brought my own soapbox. Uh, just to get on my relationship soapbox again
Is this
as
four
a
lights? Is this four?
no, no, no. We're not
Okay.
gonna do another situationship for lives. I'm too single. I'm too advanced in age and too single to do back to back situationship soapbox. People will think something's wrong with me, but I think that's where it gets messy.
Yeah,
Is where
yeah,
I'm
it
getting
is.
at, especially
So that's the part that where it gets messy, like especially with Spock um
Lon.
and Laan's situationship is because like you got two people that are broken and starting some type of relationship with each other.
Yeah,
So it's starting off messy is most definitely going to end messy as I am rethinking about all my situationships that I had in my life.
well, you had situationships before they were called situationships.
True, true. So like with those two, I definitely don't see that like definitely not being something that was long lasting. But with Beto and Ahura, that was something that I actually saw like it was like Ahura was definitely like truly feeling Beto. And not to
Well,
say that Beto wasn't either. I'm pretty sure he was. With it in this
and I think
episode,
mm-hmm.
it will come off as like to people that are not understanding of the journalistic
Yeah,
field and how they work and everything. To the people that's uninitiated in that, they will look at that as like, well, did Beta really even care about her, or did he use her?
that I agree. I think that's the question that they want raised in
Yes.
our minds. I feel like I understand the difference between doing your job and then also kind of like being the let's call him boyfriend or for the simplicity
Yeah.
of terms. So I can kind of get that, but you know it's interesting. You just watched Fantastic Four as well, I think.
Yes. I watched that.
Um,
Watched that yesterday. Yes.
yeah,
It was
they
really
kind of
good.
they kind of do the same thing with Reed Richards in that movie, where it's like, okay, the moments where he's being like the genius trying to figure out the problems in the world and doing his job
Mm-hmm.
ran into conflict with
Mm-hmm.
like Sue Storm being like, "Are you? Do you even have a heart?
Yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
any of this, or is this just an intellectual exercise?" Like, it gets like for people who draw like weird professional lines, I can see why it gets like weird for the people around them because it's like, okay, are you running an experiment or are you actually in this with me? Thinking with me in the same way.
It's funny because I look at that as different though,
Mm-hmm.
because Reed Richards to me, especially knowing the character from the comic and then like watching the movie, like Reed Richards comes off to me as just being autistic. He's
Interesting.
he's
Okay.
deeply smart, and a lot of times that can disconnect him from the emotional aspect of being human.
Well, he says it in the movie. He lets the bad thoughts in because he needs to figure it out.
Yeah,
So he can't like keep the bad thoughts out. So he can just be like in it,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
emotionally. But he's like, but I think he says in the movie like the bad thoughts come in, but that doesn't mean that I'm not still emotionally in the same
yeah,
spot
yeah,
as you.
yeah.
Like, and I wonder with the character Beto being a journalist and a boyfriend, lover friend, situationship friend, whatever, whether it's like, is he doing the same thing where it's like, well, I gotta get the facts, but also I can still be, and also when you talk about that in that way, you kind of end up
Hmm.
sounding like an F boy. So
You
like,
do, you
yeah, you
do.
see, end up sounding like an
That's the
absolute F
crazy
boy.
thing.
Yeah,
Like it makes it seem like the only reason why he got close to her was because he needed someone to give him a lot of that insight later when he needed it.
yeah, because later in the episode, yeah, they I
They
don't think they resolve it, but they
they
kind of
they touch on it. They
yeah,
touch on the complexities of it,
yeah,
and they sort of resolve it
yeah,
in a way.
sort of ish. Let's talk about Starfleet for a second, since this perplexity thing is skipping over a
Okay.
lot. Starfleet has Pike call it livestock, and it's not until, and this is where I think the format of this episode is
Yeah.
cool. It's not until we see it blow up that Lutani ship with the radiation, or irradiate that ship, that we realize uh, that's not what a cow does. Like,
This is not a cow or chicken or
yeah,
like that's
yeah,
not livestock.
yeah. Like, we very much understand that it's a weapon, and then in the one-sided conversation we hear, where we know it's April on the other side, and
Well, we speculated that that is April because, like,
okay,
in
yeah, that's fair.
when we're breaking everything down, like, in I don't know if I pointed this out with you or with someone else, but one of the things that I disliked about like Star Trek: The Next Generation was that they showed multiple admirals and not just
Yeah, I can't remember
one
if we talked about
particular
that.
admiral.
Yeah, that was with me. I can't remember if we talked about it
Yeah,
on the broadcast, but
no, I don't
yeah.
think we did.
Hmm.
And so, like, in a chain of command type thing, there won't be multiple admirals that he would be getting instructions from. It would normally be his commanding officer, his
Yeah.
CO. So, um, that's one of the things that kind of like muddles this in a way. But if we're going off of that same logic that his CO is Admiral April, then that would be the person that he was talking to during this time frame.
And also just going on some of the dialogue, how what we know of
His back and
April.
forth,
Yeah,
yeah.
like it just seemed like it was him. So I'd be surprised in a later episode if that was not him. If it was like Section 31 or something like that. I don't know. I would be shocked if it was, because he was basically like,
This does seem like a Section 31 type
it does.
situation that they
Yeah.
would get involved with.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie yet. Have you?
I have not. I don't
Okay.
even know if I
Yeah,
want to watch
everyone
it.
everyone straight up, even the which we'll get to, even the credible people were like, you don't need to watch this.
Yeah, yeah. That there was a lot of bad reviews on that, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do it to myself.
But Starfleet's orders were like, deliver it or take it for us. Those
Yeah,
are basically your options. And yeah, it's not livestock. It's this crazy powerful weapon. And I don't know how to feel about, like, we're used to the admirals being out of touch. We know that April's not a bad admiral.
no,
I
he's
don't
not an
remember
admiral.
where April works out in TOS. I think he makes an appearance as
I can't
not
remember.
not current April. He's a
Yeah,
totally different race. So I don't remember if he ends up being a Badmiral in that. But like, I'm kind of like, Starfleet's orders aren't make the best you can of this geocide situation with
yeah,
the giant space butterfly.
yeah.
It's like, we want it or give it to them. Those are
There's
your
no in
options.
between. Yeah,
And Pike's kind of like, yeah, but we just think that we might get murked if we try to do anything with this thing. And he's like, yeah, but you gotta go do something. Not doing anything is not the orders,
technically.
right? Yeah. Starfleet is in an interesting light in this episode, which I think is the point.
So one of the main things that I do want to point out with this is that I think Strange New Worlds is doing something that previous Star Treks haven't done, not since I would probably say Deep Space Nine and Star Trek Picard. As much as I dislike talking about that series,
The
where
series that shall not be named.
like they're showing the negative sides of Starfleet and how um, even even admirals in a society that is like this can get some things wrong too.
Yeah,
Um,
but I wonder how much. Yeah, go ahead.
no,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no. I was just it was really just a thought of
And
mine.
I was about to agree with it, and from a different direction, just like,
Uh huh.
yeah, he doesn't really know anything about this thing,
Yes.
so he's gonna get something wrong about it. Like as a sentient being, like I guess maybe doesn't even know it's sentient if it's supposed to be
No,
livestock.
I'm
Like,
quite sure that he knows the situation. I mean,
okay,
any type of being that is alive, they like clearly state that it is like
that's
sentient.
true. I guess I don't think
It
of a cow
the
not
thing
being
is,
sentient.
yeah, yeah. It's just the level of intelligence would
Yeah,
be the next thing to look at after that. Uh, but I don't think. Well, no, no. This is a speculation because they it could be the fact that they knew everything about this particular being and they were just like, yeah, we're going along with it. But it's kind of hard for me to think of Admiral April going along with orders like this unless she was getting given these orders from somebody else and he just like, hey, I got to follow these.
and as we're talking about it, I realize we're falling exactly into the format of the episode, which makes it brilliant. The
Mm-hmm.
conversation's redacted.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if it's April.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, it seems like it's April, and
Mm-hmm.
we don't know what he said.
I was going to point that out.
Yeah,
The purpose of them doing it in this way to where we don't hear no, number one who they're talking to, and then number two we don't hear their other side of the commentary of talking about this particular species. It leaves it up to us to speculate what was being said, who it was they were talking to, and the motives of said person that like was giving them this
yeah,
information.
yeah,
So it makes it a whole part like as you said, brilliant.
yeah. Spoiler alert: this is one of the best episodes of Star Trek
I I
ever.
I mean, I can't disagree with that.
Um, yeah. So yeah, the perplexity recap is like falling apart over here.
It is. It's perfect.
so so we're gonna I'm
I mean,
gonna
we're gonna do the best that we can here.
yeah, Pike. I got notes here that's like Pike doesn't like the cameras. I don't know what that's in reference to exactly. Spock sensed its aggression. There's like a yeah, it messes with her mind. So there's like a some sort of like
Mm-hmm.
uh,
It is,
telepathic
yeah, it's
link.
telepathic in some instance.
I have a note here that says Dr. Shaft is being shifty.
Yeah, I said Dr. Shaft offed a lot of people. Stop asking this man questions.
I mean, I'm afraid when we do our TOS rewatch and Mbenga shows up, like if he's like a happy, jovial kind of jokey person, I'm gonna be like,
This is not the Dr. Shaft that I know.
when Beto is like, and I know journalists have to just ask the question anyways, no matter what. But I'm like, does he like know how dangerous
No, he
this
doesn't.
dude
No,
is?
he's okay. If you didn't know anything about this person, and he's introducing you as Doctor Mbanga, the chief medical officer of this ship, what is the first thing you're gonna think to yourself? Oh, he do no harm.
Do no harm.
He saves people's lives. He doesn't off people.
Yeah, but he made it pretty clear. And there's another theme here that I wanted to pick up on to see if you picked up on it.
Hmm.
During that interview, I started to realize, and I have this happen to me. I'm not going to point to where it is because this is a different platform, different context.
Of
But
course.
I have video content out there, and I know how I am with a camera on me, even just by myself, versus camera off me
Hmm.
kind of thing.
Hmm.
And it's interesting seeing the Strange New Worlds SNW crew with the camera on them talking about their jobs and things like that. versus what we see them do when it's just like regular dialogue
Yeah.
going back and forth. I thought that was a cool aspect of this episode where it's just like, oh yeah, Pike's the same, but he's a little different.
Yeah, you get to see that level of being uncomfortable because it's like
Hmm.
it would be the same way as like you and I speaking on something that's live. Oh man, what that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah. Well,
Like
we got the aid of some beverages here that keep things a little bit loose.
yeah, but we still are we're very cognizant of what we say.
Geocide, unalive.
Yeah,
Yeah, we don't
and
say anything about our employers or we
exactly.
don't usually dox each other.
Usually
Yeah.
don't. Comes out accidentally sometimes.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, we try to be as very careful with what we say and
Yeah,
how we
exactly.
say it because it could come off in the wrong way. Not
Yeah.
only can it come off in the wrong way to the context of a civilian that don't even know exactly what we're fully talking about and they're just like listening to it, but it can also come off in a terrible way to their commanding officers. Oh, you said this about Starfleet? Why would you say that? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that would be a lot, and I believe that's one of the things that Uhura gets pissed off at Beto early later in the episode about as to why. I mean, granted, like there's other factors to that as well,
Yeah, exactly.
but that is also another factor to it. It's like, why would you put me in a predicament that could potentially affect the career that I have worked so hard to get into? Not only that, to continue to be in,
Yeah.
to go forward within this career. Why would you put me in a predicament to say something that could hinder that or that could like derail this whole situation?
Yeah. Um, this is gonna be an odd note for us.
Mm-hmm.
All right, behind the scenes, everybody. Do you happen to have one of the like kind of older iPhone chargers?
I
Ever?
actually do.
Okay, because I am like I'm relying on this thing for a lot of things. It's down to 9%.
Oh, geez. So we're gonna pause for a moment. We're gonna pause right now to make sure we have enough juice for his phone. All right, we'll be back in just a few moments. All right, so we are back. We took a bathroom break and also got a nice charger for Patrick's phone, so
We're at 34%.
we're all good.
Hmm.
We're all we're back in business,
That was a
baby.
real Star Trek moment. Like we were running out of power.
Coolant leak. We have a coolant
And then like the little door
leak. The
drops,
door drops. Yeah,
like
all the time. All...
I'm like, what? I've always wondered what is that supposed to do exactly?
There's multiple times that they show this door, but I feel like every time was like different and not all the way a life threatening situation. Because like there was one episode where the door closed to practically like the whole of engineering, right?
There's the crewman Tarsus episode,
Yeah,
and the door is down, and it's
and
not a
it's
life-threatening
yeah,
situation.
but it's just the like where the warp core is.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, there's another episode that I saw where the door was like further out that closed, right? Am I
Yeah, no,
misremembering
no.
this?
There is an episode because this is another. I can't remember what Star Trek
Continuity.
podcast. No, it's not kind of.
Oh,
There's another Star Trek podcast that I used to listen to. And they always talked about Geordi doing the barrel roll under
yeah,
the door.
yeah,
And I can't remember what episode that was because he had to go to engineering or go to the bridge to take over engineering
yeah.
again. And like that's the episode where like it goes down, but I don't remember what episode
So,
that is.
something happened. He said like we lost a lot of good men down there
We
when he
lost a
gets to
lot of
the
good people. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Um, so
Oh shoot, what episode was that?
that's see now you're gonna make me. I really want to say best of both worlds, but I don't. That's definitely not it.
I
Um,
want to say that too for some reason.
that is definitely not it.
Yeah,
Um, dang, that's gonna be bothering me for a minute. It'll come to me. Like
yeah.
all of a sudden we'll be done with this
I wonder what.
cast, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, it was such and such.
I'm gonna wait for that to happen, and then we have to come back on.
Yeah, yeah.
So that episode was blah blah blah. Okay. So we talked about Doctor Mbenga pleading the fifth on and being shifty in a
Hmm.
lot of ways.
The shock collar that was on the entity.
Yeah.
Um.
Let's see here. I got a note here. God,
Oh.
where are we in this episode?
Oh. So at this point, especially when they were going through the whole thing of like wanting to communicate with the entity, this reminded me of Tin Man
Yeah.
from the Next Generation.
Yeah.
And I made sure to put this in my notes because I definitely wanted to talk about this because there were a lot of parallels to that, being as Tin Man in TNG couldn't, like, the only way that he could communicate was through a psychic entity.
Who was also a Betazoid.
Yeah, was who was
Mm-hmm.
also a Betazoid. And in this particular situation, the only way that it could communicate it to this entity was through some type of psychic means.
Yeah.
Now, it is pointed out later in the episode that they didn't really have to be,
Spock.
yeah, it didn't have to be a species that actually knew how to do be empathic, uh, but it's still within the middle of the episode. It reminded me of that because Tin Man also felt threatened. Whenever it felt threatened, it would do some type of
Yeah, it did.
blast that like that one destroyed the
The
Romulan
Romulans. Yeah. But they earned
warbird.
it.
Oh, they definitely earned it. Um, so
F them.
in this particular situation, it destroyed another well, not another species, the species that helped make it.
Yeah.
Well, not make it, but like it
Well, the people.
reprogram them.
Yeah. So it, big theme of the episode. Who knows what when? We don't know it because it's from a civilian perspective.
Hmm.
This time, but clearly the race that made it knew what it was, and were they sent the warship to try to like get it to the place it needed to
Hmm.
be so that they could deploy it, I guess, for um, maximum impact in this war that they're having.
And then they so Spock, Nurse Chapel, uh, Uhura. they
Everyone that's gonna make it to TOS
yeah, they
got into a
volunteered to be on.
shuttlecraft.
Yeah, and the funny thing about this, while we were watching it, and it was about to like go into this situation where someone could possibly be unalived. I was like, yeah, they all three of them make it to uh, TOS, so we know they're not going to be unalived in this moment. So,
But it doesn't. This is something that I think happens with the MCU. Like,
hmm,
all their stakes are about whether a hero survives or not.
yeah,
There's still stakes in that moment because Uhura, for the last few scenes, has been and will continue to push a plan to communicate. That honestly, as I'm talking about right now, I think Pike, without cameras on him, would be totally about trying to do. But with cameras on him, is like, we got to tractor beam this thing and get it out of here, or whatever we need to do. He eventually gets to the right conclusion, right? Um,
hmm.
but lost my train of thought. That's a first. What was I talking about?
Well,
Did I train? Oh no, I feel old.
well, in this particular moment, I felt that like I understand you saying that Captain Pike would have probably been different if the camera wasn't on him.
Yeah,
And,
because she wants to communicate. That is her biggest thing. She
yeah,
argues for it 3 times. One time, very boldly on the bridge to
yes,
communicate with this thing, which I think, and I don't know if it's because I'm being like trained as a Star Trek watcher to just be like, yeah, of course,
yeah, communicate
communicate.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what Picard would do. This is what you should do,
So
right?
I tend to try to put myself into that situation. Like I'm a Starfleet officer in this situation on this bridge
Yeah,
while this is going about. My my main concern here with her plan would be that power that that entity just showed, and and that's where Pike's I feel like that's where Pike's mind was when talking about this, because his first duty is to his ship, make sure his ship and his crew live for the next mission.
yeah.
So
Which is what he was arguing to April, or who we assumed to be April,
yes,
on the other side of the communication.
because
Yeah,
they don't know the capabilities fully of this
yeah,
this entity, and then they just got to see it, and it's just like, well, this just went from a just small escort mission to a big heightened mission
right.
that me and my crew could be possibly unalive. So like this might needs to we might need to change
Yeah,
our thought process here. So I could see like even myself if I was Pike, I would be apprehensive about this as well, because I don't want to lose three of my best officers on this mission.
that's where I was going. There were still stakes in it because the way they present them coming back, Chapel's down, Spock's down,
Hmm.
Uhura's not down, and I wondered if she was having that survivor's guilt again, and
Mm.
it was her recommendation and like pushing this plan.
Yeah, because she had that look on her face,
Yeah,
like what did I do?
but then she shows the growth later as um, that, which they alluded to in the recap last week, that scene that she had with Kirk,
Hmm.
where she was getting over that survival's guilt, where she was back in the ready room and was like, "Nah, for real, we need to communicate with this thing. I know it just like didn't work out, but it'll be me this time,
Yeah,
and you don't have to order me to do it." Like,
but that was the difference though with that particular situation, because she was just like, instead of it being me and other people that could also get hurt, I am the only one that can get hurt in this situation, and you don't have to order me to do it because I'm volunteering for it.
yeah,
Like I want to do this
yeah,
in order to save or try to save this entity.
yeah. I also realized in my own notes here, and I don't know if you took notes during the scene, that we've skipped over the scene that was the shock collar scene.
No, I did take notes of that. Hmm.
Okay. One, I made a note that Uhura is always messing with Spock, because Uhura is always messing with Spock, and she said the fascinating
Oh yeah, I forgot about
thing.
that.
I was
Yeah.
like, that was pretty cool. And then Spock felt a little bit betrayed because Uhura ratted him out
Oh
to Chapel.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot about that part. And even though when Spock looked back, they didn't pan over to Uhura in that moment. It still
Mm-hmm.
felt like that he was looking at Uhura in that moment, like,
Like, dude, it was just a
"Hey,
console conversation.
my girl,
Yeah,
hey." I told you, I said that in confidence.
yeah, yeah,
You gonna tell
exactly.
my ex about that? Come on
But I think
now.
in that moment, Spock also knew Uhura did the exact right thing because his hand is
hmm
shaking. Like he's
hmm
clearly been effed up a little bit by this thing, and like
And
didn't go to medical, but someone in medical needed to know. And I wonder if Chapel's relationship with Spock, prior relationship with Spock, made her more vocal
yeah,
about.
that's possible. But also at the same time, I was thinking of it like Uhura came up with this idea to speak to the entity in this moment, and since how it was her idea, she felt that she was responsible to point out any issues
Right.
that could come up in regards to this. And Spock pointed out to them that, um, which I thought was like very cool of them to like put more emphasis on the Vulcan people as to why they suppress their emotions and why they go through these particular like the Kolinar and all of that
Yeah.
to suppress emotions because like they become a very dangerous society if they allow their emotions to run rampant.
Which I mentioned while we were watching. That's a throwback to Gambit again. Gambit
Mm-hmm.
is the MVP of this episode. Gambit, the episode of TNG,
Mm-hmm.
talked about the Vulcan psionic weapons that they had, and Chapel referenced it directly. Like there were some sects of the Vulcan people who pulled back on these practices because it led to this,
Yeah.
and unaliving and all this stuff. Okay, so this is a first note for me being here, actually recording with you. Does your TV go dark? Or
Yeah. That's just my TV and what it does.
interesting,
That's not the actual
because it went a little
PlayStation
dim, and
doing
I
it.
didn't say anything, and you didn't react. And then it got like really dark, and I'm like, is it gonna like turn off? Like what?
No. It's a power saving mode thing.
Yeah. So another note I have from that that might prompt another note of yours is he the only Vulcan on the ship? I know it's only 203 crew members, but you would think
Is it
every
200? I thought it was 400 some odd.
it said 203 at the beginning of the episode. That was
Okay.
one of the details Starfleet would let out.
They haven't stated that there was any other Vulcans on board. I mean, I
Okay.
would imagine so within the like possibilities of the Federation at this point that there could possibly be
Seems like
other.
there should be
You
like
know what?
3 or 4 people with handshaking.
Actually, I think at around this time, canonically, Spock is the
Is the
only
only Vulcan.
true Vulcan in Starfleet
Interesting. Okay.
because, like, the Vulcans, yes, are part of the Federation, but they don't really like they do their own thing. And this would be an interesting topic for us to touch in in the future.
And a strange track.
Yeah, because uh, I have to I have to get the full chronology of Vulcans and how they enter into Starfleet because definitely like we see them in TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, other Vulcans that are
Yeah.
there. But in Kirk's timeline, in around that area, how much were Vulcans? How much were Vulcans in Starfleet at that time? And then I feel like there was a Vulcan captain that we.
Yeah. Kirk's commanding officer.
Yeah.
Captain Varel.
So I would imagine that there
So
was
he's
more.
not the
I'm
only Vulcan in the Starfleet.
granted, like I'm thinking also of like Star Trek 2009,
Yeah.
that movie, and how they like
Hmm.
how they depicted Spock in that area, like almost like he was the only Vulcan in Starfleet at that
I guess
time.
they never do say that Spock's the first Vulcan because he couldn't be because
He
Captain
couldn't be,
Varel's a captain
and
unless she like just transfers over from a similar rank in
and
whatever
going
the Vulcans are doing.
and going back to Star Trek, Enterprise
Yeah, exactly. With
with
DePaul.
the ball.
Yeah. which also means Spock's not the first Vulcan in Starfleet.
Yeah.
So we solved that one. Newsflash, everyone: Spock is not the first Vulcan in Starfleet.
I feel a lot of our people listen to this like, duh.
Yeah, we solved it, everyone. We're all good. Um, I have a note here that says there be whales on this ship. I think that's because I think the space butterfly sounds like a whale, and they're
That's
trying to
hilarious.
move it from one planet to another, and I was just like, Star Trek 4 vibes.
So, um, before we move forward, I do want to touch on the whole Beto and Uhura scene
Okay, yeah,
where he is talking to her, and it seems like this is like a candid conversation between boyfriend and girlfriend.
well, can I interrupt for?
Yeah.
There's also the scene way earlier that was clearly an earlier interview where she's in civilian clothing,
Hmm.
where he just absolutely wrecks her by telling her about the Cayuga and her
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot
roommate.
about that.
Yeah,
That was a good uh, kind of foreshadowing in a way
yeah,
um, of what was going to happen later within the episode
mm-hmm,
because he kind of like blindsides her with this information where and that's within that context of someone who is a journalist documentist that wants to do a good job with like creating the best documentary that they could possibly make by withholding certain information to a person to get their reaction on camera.
yeah.
And I mean, I hate to say it as much as I like Beto and as much as I like Uhura. That was a dick move.
The way I wrote it up in my notes for Beto, this whole episode actually, and basically his whole character arc, now that I think about it, is I just wrote Beto is just using every trick in the book.
Yeah.
Like if you know a journalist, if you're friends with a journalist, I mean, not like, well, I guess even if you're a personal friend, but if they're on a story that they want, and it's revealed at the end that Beto wants a story that doesn't cast Starfleet in the best light.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you're on a story that they want, then they absolutely will use every trick in the book. They will leave a drone in the ready room
Mm-hmm.
and you not know that it's there,
Mm-hmm.
and they will hold information back to make sure that they get it at the maximal moment. So like, I don't know, like, is it is it is it a is it a dick
Oh,
move
it's a dick
or
move.
is it
Oh no, no,
a
no, no! It's a dick move. It's
but it's
like I get it. I get it that that's something that they have to do as a journalist
but in football.
the to get what they need. But ultimately, if you're doing this to people that you actually have an active relationship with, that's a dick move to me.
But it's also a move common to the game for journalists. I think that's why journalists aren't like,
Hmm.
they're kind of like right behind lawyers in terms of like, because like we've seen it in other episodes where even Starfleet officers will stop being personal and become Starfleet officers once certain lines are crossed. It's just that it's part of the story, right? Like
Yeah,
they got to wake up and be like, "Oh, I'm being manipulated personally. I got to jump back into." And but with a journalist, it's like I'm just getting a story. Now, if he has,
but he has a motive though.
hey, well, I'm gonna swing
Okay,
to your side
okay.
here for a second. If he has actually slept with Uhura,
Which I believe that they actually have at this point.
there's no reason to believe it hasn't. This is
Yeah.
Star Trek, right? If he has, then I believe he is 100% violating journalistic ethics as established at least in the United States.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
He has crossed the line in that. Now, according to the book Tokyo Vice, at least back in the early or mid 90s, early 2000s, that wasn't a journalistic line in Japan. So, like, maybe there's some blending that could happen, but at least in the United States, like, yeah, you can't sleep with a source.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think it. I think if you're trying to be like somewhat sympathetic to Beto in this episode, you're still wondering what exactly is he
So
doing.
so I know Beto is not part of Starfleet,
Yeah.
and I know that he had his own ulterior motives, but I still feel like
You betrayed your uniform!
like
You found a way. You found a way.
okay, like granted he's not Starfleet, so he
Yeah.
like uniform like he didn't really betray, but like the like how close he was to Ahura, and we all love this connection.
Yeah.
Like whatever this was going to be, however this was going to go, like we were there for it.
Well,
Like
and they preserve it at the end.
yeah,
Yeah.
well yeah, granted, but like in the middle of the episode, it doesn't feel like that. In the middle of the episode, it feels like that he is really his motives is to peg Starfleet in a certain light. And he's going to get that narrative no matter what he needs to do.
Well, and talk about that one scene where you started with.
Yes, and that was the scene that we came down to when he was talking to Uhura in her quarters and just like having a candid conversation with her.
Mhm.
And she was going to answer him until she realized, oh no, do you have a camera drawn in here?
Yeah.
And the way that she looked at him was the same way that a lot of black women have looked at me when I've effed up in the past.
Oh, she did the little like hair touch as
Oh,
well.
oh,
Like,
oh, she
yeah.
did. She,
I unfortunately have gotten that look more times than I'm willing to admit in my younger days and
she
in
did
my
it.
less younger days.
She did that perfectly.
Yeah.
Like that was perfectly acted.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what she drew from.
Ex-
To
experience.
of course,
Upbringing.
100%. It was
The
experience.
ancestors. That's what
Like,
you drew from.
I just don't know what past experience that like she used to draw from to get the look that she had, the pure look on her face. Like I mean, I truly don't know if we can fully say this or like without being demonetized or anything, but like N word, like
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
like,
As a black man watching her reaction to that, I knew exactly where the like. I would have just stopped talking. Like that's
oh,
like
I would have stopped completely
Like-
in my tracks.
like Beto just doesn't know, but I knew and you knew, and any black man watching that would know. Be like, oh,
and I put in my notes, Beto focuses on his job more than his relationship during a candid conversation with Una. And she thought it was just a it's just she thought it was just
Uhura.
between the two
Yeah.
two of, oh yeah, Una, I'm sorry. Uhura. That's what I meant to say. And she thought it was just a situation between just the two of them. Like this was not going to be recorded. This was not going to be something like she's going to be.
that's where he really presses the ethics to
Yes.
me because I thought a journalist is supposed to tell you when you're on the record. Like they actually, I don't know if you've seen Superman, but they kind of actually
Haven't seen Superman yet.
they go through this. If you have seen Superman, they do this in like a big scene that they tease in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. Where Lois Lane interviews Superman, and they talk about on the record, off the record, and they are in like a personal relationship, and it's just like it gets like really messy.
It gets
and goes
muddled.
back and forth.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I do think Beto should have told Uhura in that conversation where he's hiding the drone, which we saw him. That's one of his tricks. He hides the drone somewhere in the room where you don't know where it is. I think he should have told her, and I think he should have told Pike and Una during the redacted conversation that like everything's on the record.
I think that was so. So this is the crazy part for me. So in this particular scene, okay, number one, I do want to point out the fact as being a black man who's dated black women practically all his life, And
This
then
isn't just black women you date though.
no, no,
Your
I'm
black sisters, your black moms, your grandmas, the ushers at church, uh,
I don't,
your black female friends who are just friends. They can all deliver what she delivered
yes,
there in the right context, and you still be like,
the look on her face, the and I immediately thought Nichelle Nichols would
mm-hmm.
have had the same exact look in this particular scene, in this particular moment, at this particular time as she did. I feel like she embodied every black woman in this one particular scene, and I was terrified. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was
Well,
terrified.
if you don't know that look and reaction, that is the point of it, is to strike fear in your heart. And I think we couldn't see his reaction, but I think even he felt it in that moment.
he,
I don't. It'll be interesting to see how he was reacting from the reverse
yeah,
angle.
because you couldn't see his face
Yeah,
when she was doing that. It was all just like uh, on Ahura's body language and face at the whole time. But like, he really tried to like continue. Well, not tried. He continued professionally
yeah.
to point out like, yeah, this is on the record. Da 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 da. It's like, my boy, my boy. Are you reading the room right now? Are you
Yeah,
are you truly reading the room right now? You probably just lost your relationship right at this point.
yeah. We'll see
Yeah, we'll
as
see.
it continues on. I think I know. Okay, so I have a note here that just says
Mm-hmm.
shit shit. I think this is where they first tried to subdue the shoot, what's it called? The
Mm,
Jakuru, the space butterfly,
yeah, the
the
space
Jakuru.
butterfly.
Yeah, because there were two moments in this episode where I thought it was about to turn around and just like irradiate the Enterprise,
Yeah,
um, which would have been canon breaking, but also like they had talked to April and where he was like, go get, or who we think is April, he was like, go get it, and then they try to go get it, and then with the neural thing, and it like absolutely does not work.
it's still a good way of like adding tension to an episode because you saw at the very beginning, the first 15 minutes of the episode, of what this particular entity can do,
Yeah,
and so it adds that extra layer of, oh man, could this happen to us like at any point?
we got
And
stronger shields. That was like the only thing.
yeah, but like also at the same time, like going back to last season with Hammer being unalived, like it's still like that same thing. Like anybody else who isn't on TOS can get unalived.
Who includes Una and Ortegas, who like we see
Exactly.
in that scene like
And
get
La'an.
hit with, yeah,
And
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 but
you
please no.
and your boo La'an, and your boo La'an. All right, let's
My
point this out. La'an can get it at any point. I'm sorry to let you know. Before the end of the fifth season, La'an could possibly get it.
Oh,
I just
if Paramount Skydance wants a lawsuit for intentional infliction of emotional distress, then that's what they would do.
Thus said like a lawyer.
It's like Pike said, the you do not want the Federation as your enemy.
oh, I have that in my notes. That was such a great line.
I like that
That
line.
was
That
such
was
a
a
great
really good
line.
line. Okay, so I'm gonna try and keep stitching the plot together
Yeah,
from
as much as we can.
yeah. So Uhura, after the whole shuttlecraft thing, is still like, let's communicate with it, because I think that's what it is. They go on the shuttle. Wait a
Mm-hmm.
minute, no, I'm misremembering it. Because it's either they go on the shuttlecraft, it doesn't work, and then Pike's like, I'm gonna force it, and then it's like Uhura comes back and is like, no. Or I think they try to force it, do the shuttlecraft, and then when the shuttlecraft doesn't work, Pike's like, I'm not risking any more lives for this.
Yes, that's exactly what.
Okay, that's what happened.
Yeah.
And Uhura is like, no, I can communicate with it. You don't have to be telepathic. It's in all of our brains. And so she starts communicating with it.
Mm-hmm.
And the episode starts to get real sad.
Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
starts to tug on the
Real
heartstrings.
quick. Real
Because
quick.
this thing is like, they've made me something into something I should never have been, and I don't want to be that anymore.
And it knows that it can't come back from it.
Yeah.
That's the sad. That's
Uh,
the true sad part of it. It's not like and really what I correlate with this is people that's in the military,
mm-hmm.
like and not just. I mean, like you can probably get some of this from people that's in the army, the Air Force, the
Right.
Navy, but like especially special forces. Excuse me, I don't know why I said that like that. Um, special forces.
It's not all the food and drink we've been having while hanging out, right? Speaking of, grab the.
Like some people that are in a certain mentality of like love like life and like people and don't necessarily want to just unalive people unnecessarily without a good reason.
Yeah.
Um, and when they like come to that conclusion that they've been made into a weapon, not that they decided like because that's the difference between a lot of the people that go into the military. A lot of times they decide to go there. Sometimes they're thrusted there because that's the only option that they have in life.
Yeah.
So
And they end up with leaders that don't
mm-hmm,
value, they say they value, but they don't
mm-hmm,
actually value the lives of people who have, and this gets to like a her speech at the end as well,
mm-hmm,
like who have committed themselves to the point where they're willing to lay down their lives for something
yes,
that's bigger than themselves. And those leaders don't appreciate them and maybe call them suckers and losers and maybe go to Normandy Beach and say something like, I don't know what they gave up their lives for. I mean, I
mm-hmm,
don't know if these are real life examples that I'm throwing out there, but maybe some leaders do that. Um, um,
but
yeah, it's interesting to me that when you get that committed to it, you
mm-hmm,
could be just thrown away.
yeah, yeah, and you're used as this weapon for this particular singular purpose, and whatever happens happens. Like
Yeah,
if you get unalive due to this, well, oh well. I mean,
it's kind of the plot of the Jason Bourne movies as well.
yeah,
Yeah, and so like we're sympathetic to the side that's being geocide, and but then we learn that it's taken a sentient being against its will and turned it into something that it doesn't want to be. That the only way that it can get out of is through assisted self unaliving.
yeah. And you know what would make this episode even better if they would have showed the morality with it with the species
Yeah,
that created this. That would have made it even better. Like this would have added a different layer to it. Like, granted, I'm not saying that they should have done that. The way that they did this episode was great,
yeah,
and in my in my opinion, almost perfect. Like the way that they did this particular situation
mm-hmm,
and made it into this documentary type thing. But it would have been really good to have seen the morality aspect of it from the species that actually created this particular weapon. Like we know how Oppenheimer
yeah,
felt about the
good,
atom
mm-hmm,
bomb. Like he felt that he was the creator of death. Like
the destroyer of
the
worlds.
destroyer of worlds.
Yeah,
Yeah. He had a somber feeling like, yeah, as a scientist, this is like one of the things that they do to create something like this that like transcends what they even thought was possible. But at the same time, this transition, this transcending of this particular uh, piece of science ended up creating a massive destroying weapon that
yeah,
ended up unaliving
a,
a number of people.
a huge problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't. And God, when the Jakaru was like, I got kids back on the planet that I don't want this to happen to,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like Uhura's like,
Oh, that was
it was some real hero
oh
stuff from Uhura. Like she's singing, her nose is bleeding, like she's putting it all on the line to like get what essentially are this thing's last wishes out. And this thing
Mm-hmm.
can't even control itself
It can't.
to fly itself into the sun. It needs the Enterprise to attack it in some soft way so that it can follow the Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh gosh, man, what are these? Like these people are desperate, and
Yeah.
I feel for. And I do want. I
Yeah.
would like to know on some level from a story purpose, like, does Starfleet ever knock off this geocide that's going on that led to this level of desperation? But it'd be interesting to just leave it open ended forever as well. Like I'd be fine with that too.
You hit a point on the head though. Like this society was, they were desperate.
Yeah.
They were desperate to end this particular war that they. Oh, well, how we don't even know who created it actually. Like this is just a war that like's been going on between these two people, and they wanted to end everything as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the means that they came up with to do so.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It was a form of desperation from their people to take a sentient being and utilize its. It was probably, and we don't know this from the episode, but it was probably one of those like things that was instinctual, that was created within this being to like probably protect itself.
Well, I think the neural inhibitor, if I was following it correctly,
Uh huh.
I think the neural inhibitor, when it was attacked, caused it to attack back. Like it never had a choice in what it was doing. Like the energy weapons charged it, and it just fired back.
See, but my
Or maybe I got that wrong.
no,
But
no, I believe you're right there, but like I'm thinking of it like, how did they find out that this could do this? Like this being could do this thing?
maybe that's a knock on the episode.
And
Yeah.
I don't think it's a knock on the episode. It's just one of those things. It's like we we as humans have studied like a lot of the animals, insects, and
Oh,
stuff
I see
on
what
our
you're saying.
planet
Yeah.
to understand why they do a certain thing at a certain time. So I was thinking like this being, like it had that ability. It always had that ability. It was born with that ability to do this, and it was really just an ability to like protect itself when it's being threatened to a certain degree. So this caller um, pretty much just like basically cornered a lot of its ability to fully think in a comprehensive manner,
Yeah.
to like be like, well, is this an enemy or is this a threat or like what
Yeah.
and it just like went completely purely on instinct.
Mm-hmm.
If it attacks me, I'm attacking it back,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So that's my thought of this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, without giving the plot of my score and everything of like how what this come down to, like it makes this episode one of the best
Yeah.
because it's it's making me think about this stuff.
It is. The documentary stuff, just like a good documentary in real life, it leaves you with open questions
Yes.
to gnaw on for weeks, months, years, forever, maybe. And so I'll try to. I'm not gonna speed run the ending, but like,
So to kind of wrap it up.
yeah, they help it fly into the sun, and it makes a beautiful starburst
Oh,
in its last act.
even with that particular scene, one of the main things that like touched me on this scene was how they pan to. It's not 10 forward, but like technically 10
Yeah,
forward.
they're a bar. Yeah, we'll have to figure
And
out what they actually call it.
I don't know
but
what
yeah,
they call it,
Ten
but
forward, whatever.
it showed all the Starfleet officers, not only just Starfleet officers, but even the civilians on board, looking at this entity essentially unalive itself.
Yeah,
Like they knew what was going on,
yeah,
and seeing it fly into that sun was really impactful to me because it like so this whole episode was all about how Starfleet really is, and it really was like trying to get you on both sides of the argument, whether you think Starfleet is a military organization or that they are a peaceful organization.
Yeah.
And a lot of times within this episode, you kept flip flopping back and forth between the two. And I mean, ultimately, what I decided after seeing this episode was like they're both.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are, they are really, really both. Like,
Yeah.
uh, there's no way to say, there's no way that I can refute that they're not a military organization.
Yeah.
But there's also no way that I can refute that they're not a peaceful organization.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. I I do think that, especially given Uhura's final speech and Ortega's final speech about how they
Uh huh.
opted in, how they have found family, how we're trying to do the right thing out here, and we're the ones that have to act. And they actually give like a little bit of the Spider-Man speech where, or Uhura's like, well, but we have the resources
Yeah.
to act as well. So with great
With great
power,
power comes great
yeah,
responsibility.
exactly. So like she gives that to Beto as well as this is happening, where it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, yeah, this is the ethos, and I think they have the Una and Bega sparring scene, which I wouldn't spar with Mbenga at all. Like I just plainly wouldn't.
I'm not effing with this guy at all. Like
Yeah,
he is my best friend.
yeah, exactly. So so you get all this from them that's like, and you see like them like having dinner together and
Mm-hmm.
wine and things like that, and you get the sense that it's exactly um, both. It's just like it's a family. It's a military organization.
Mm-hmm.
It's people who keep other people safe. It's people who actually explore what life is and try to understand things. And
It gave people who were lost a purpose for their
that's it.
life,
Yeah, very much so.
and you
Mm-hmm.
saw that with two people. You saw that with Ortegas, and you saw that with Laan,
Mm-hmm.
which I never fully like parallel to until this particular episode, which was like great because
Yeah.
like it's almost like a duh. I should have like seen this point blank from when they were introduced,
and
but
and what you were saying about the military earlier, for some people in real
yes,
life, gives them
exactly.
purpose. Yeah.
And as someone that almost like literally like this close from like being in the military, I uh was it like what 3 weeks from going
Yeah.
to what the training that
ROTC.
uh it was RCC, but it was the boot camp.
Oh,
Yeah, it
okay.
was like
Yeah.
three.
Basic
I was
training.
literally 3 weeks from going to basic training. Like
Yeah.
3 weeks from it until I was medically
Yeah.
not able to do so. Uh, it and knowing the people like my friends and colleagues that I got to know during that time, and knowing their lives and everything, like a lot of times the military does give people that structure, that purpose, that almost sense of like I'm doing something good for humanity. I'm not just living.
Right.
Like I'm actually doing something that has a purpose to it.
Yep.
And like ultimately also like to a certain degree that's how I was. Granted, like I was trying to go in for air traffic control and everything. So I like did have a purpose for the military, but that wasn't my ultimate goal of like finding myself.
Right.
But I do know people that went into the military for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this this episode hit home for me in multiple angles, like a multitude of angles throughout the full episode from beginning to end. like the only thing I can say to the writers was just like bravo. Like seriously,
Yeah.
I don't have anything negative to say. I could probably nitpick this episode if I sat down again and watched it and like tried to find something wrong with it, but ultimately those nitpicks would be overshadowed by the brilliance of this episode.
I agree. I agree. before you get to all that,
Uh
though,
huh.
I want to note three quick things. Um, One, Una was fighting in a cat suit at the end of it, so
Mm.
they're getting all the women in cat suits, and well, we've already said on the record how we feel about that, but I'm glad they're being more. I don't know what I'm glad about. I just wanted to note that we talked about them getting the women in Star Trek in cat suits, and it's like very slowly happening on this show. And I'm like, I don't know what to think about it. I'm just gonna move on as a
You
single
should.
person. Um, the other thing that I was gonna mention, and I'm going in order of,
What you saw? Yeah.
well, not what
The
I saw,
episode.
but like impact.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
oh, okay, gotcha.
the only thing I feel like I was missing from this episode was Pelia. I'm not sure what she would have done exactly given how they use her,
You
but
wanted
like
like a small quip from Pelia.
because she like yeah, like a blink and you miss it moment because it
Yeah,
wasn't an engineering centric episode, but
it
she
wasn't.
definitely like set up playing to the camera,
You know what would have been?
and so
You know what would have been funny? Um, if they had a moment when the entity like did its like burst thing and like, granted, like it hit the shuttlecraft pretty hard, but if it actually like hit the Enterprise as well, and then you got a moment where either Scotty or Pelia was just like did a like a Scotty moment from the
oh
TOS
yeah,
series,
yeah, that would have been cool.
like like the shields are down, Captain. We don't know if we can. Oh, that was a terrible Scotty, but
Good enough, good enough. But yeah, I mean, they had kind of set up that like she was playing to the
yeah,
camera, so like I wondered if there was a way to pay it off. I imagine they probably tried to figure it out, but like Pele is such a force on the show that they
yeah.
explain her absences, and if she was only in the show for like 5 seconds to pay off a joke, like people might have
I
gotten.
truly won't imagine the amount of money that they spend every time she's on the show, but like, yeah.
and and the last thing that I'm speed running here, but it relates to our last theme. So,
Mm-hmm.
is they did make a reference to the Starfleet as a promise speech from Star
Yes.
Trek Discovery, and I loved it because he was basically like, "I'm gonna promise that your young will be well taken care of
Yes.
after you fly into the sun." And what is Starfleet as a promise? They answered it in Discovery, but they brought it up here, and like if you watch both shows and can make
Mm-hmm.
that connection, it's like yes, Starfleet is a promise.
And
Yeah,
one of the main things that got to me at the end was like everyone going through and like talking about how Starfleet impacted them in a way. Like with Ortega, she said joining Starfleet was something she could control because at that point in her life,
yeah,
she was like everything was out of control and like and as someone that is a bit of a control freak, I'm not a full control freak like my therapist would say. uh, I am I am a bit of a control freak. I don't want to
I don't know. I'm
control.
inclined to listen to your therapist on that one, but
I don't want to
gotcha.
control everything, but when stuff does go out of control, it bothers me a lot.
Yeah,
It's hard for me to bounce back from it. So
yeah,
like
gotcha.
I truly felt her in that moment. Una stated that Starfleet sent her in a proper direction, which I think correlates to like her whole background of what like where she came from being an augmented
Mm-hmm.
person. And then Spock was like Starfleet allowed him to explore his human half,
Yeah.
which I don't know if it I don't know fully if it was brilliant in that moment because I do feel like we're focusing a lot on Spock's human half
In Strange New Worlds.
in
Yeah.
Strange New Worlds
Mm-hmm.
when it seems like he comes to grips more with that in the original series.
Yeah.
So like in a way I'm like that's brilliant, but also the same way I'm just like I feel like we're hitting this early
Oh. Okay.
than than where it needs to be. But granted, like I said, like I've told you before, I don't know how they're going to end this series. So a lot of this could be
Well, Spock's gonna f everyone on the ship.
oh
We've already determined this,
100%. Like we,
and maybe everyone on the Farragut as well. We'll see.
and then also within this episode, uh, Uhura pointed out to Beto that he had an agenda.
Oh,
Like
that's a great catch on this episode.
he had an agenda of wanting to peg Starfleet in this negative light because of what Starfleet meant to him, which was taking his sister away from him and his family.
Yeah,
And so he,
and he had almost lost Ortega's.
yes, and yeah, Ortega's almost got unalived as well. So, like, you got to see from a different point of view as to why, like, his motives behind wanting to do a type of style documentary on Starfleet and the ship in particular. And I mean, I would be remiss to say this,
Okay.
knowing a lot of black women the way that I do,
Okay. I also know a lot of black women, but
that Uhura handled this better than a lot of the black women that I know.
I will actually expand out that because I'm still single, so like I
Uh-huh.
still have to deal with a lot of different types of women. Um, the maturity she shows at the end of this
Oh
to
man.
be offended, but then also come back and communicate, but also be
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
would be top tier partnership material.
Oh, top.
Yeah,
Top of the top tier.
like S tier.
Oh,
Like somebody f's up and you realize why they did it, you realize why they couldn't help themselves in doing it. And I was going to note that like when journalists come in with agendas, that's when they break their ethics a lot of times.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
to realize, okay, for this good reason is why they're doing this. So instead, I'm going to communicate where they cross the line and why they were wrong and how they can get better, and not just like blow up in their face and storm off. Like you don't come
Yeah.
across like that is just pure fiction. That's the most unrealistic thing in Star Trek.
I can't think of I can't think of any woman in my life that would have came off that mature. Uh Possibly my mom with her level of like being on this earth and dealing with a lot of the stuff and like being able to analyze and stuff, but I would still like that look that she gave him earlier in the episode. I immediately thought of my mom's look in
Yeah,
and that's the part that terrified me about her. It's like, but then for her to come back around, having that situation that occurred, and then coming right back around and being mature to the 300 times level. Like I don't know any way to put this. Like the level of maturity that Ahura showed within this one scene
mm-hmm.
was like, I loved the Ahura character with Nichelle Nichols, and I loved the Ahura character with I forget her name.
Oh shoot! Oh,
We'll
time to Google it.
we'll we'll get that. Like she, like both of them. Even with, I even give Star Trek 2009
Zoe Saldana,
Zoe Saldana as well. Like the how,
Celia Rose Gooding is new
Celia Rose Gooding,
Mm-hmm.
how she portrayed this character in this episode. I was already in love with her. It made me fall more in love with her. Like the she brings a certain level of grace, a certain level of like care to Star Trek. Period.
Yep.
That no other character can bring, and like this part of the episode got to me probably more than all the other parts of the episode, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and it's a good episode to pick your spot because there's a lot in this
There's a
episode.
lot.
There's a lot in this episode, and it's not an extra long runtime or anything like that. It's just it's a great episode. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. I think I'm out of notes.
I'm definitely out.
And for the future, this I'm not going to rely on perplexity anymore. Like if I
We're not. This was a special situation where Patrick had to travel from home back to his old home,
yeah
and we were trying to figure out how we were going to do this. If we were going to delay it until next week, Patrick didn't want to delay it. So he was so graciously, I say this with all honesty, he was so graciously to use his birthday weekend to still say, no, we need to do this. Because it
oh
was all on
good
him. It wasn't on me. I want to point that out. It was not on me. It was all on him. And he decided, like, no, we should still do this. And it'd also be a good time for us to hang out and everything. Like,
yep
you know, even though we're boys and we hang out, like, we find moments throughout the year to hang out and, like,
yeah
find ways of, like, meeting up with one another or whatnot. But, like, still, like, it was still a good way of, like, hanging out and still being able to do this
yeah
cast like we normally
absolutely.
do.
I've had a blast. Like this will not be the only time that we record in here.
No,
So
no.
I'm glad we got the opportunity to do it, and yeah, looking forward to doing it again.
And so I do have one thing to point out, but before we go into that, I do want to talk about our ratings for this episode.
Okay.
So, what do you give this episode?
Man, I was about 3/4 through the episode, and I just wrote 10 on my. I don't know what was going on when I was like, I don't care how they stick the landing. Because last week I waited for them to stick the landing to give them a 10. This time it was like,
You
like
stuck this landing at the
I was
beginning.
like, whatever, yeah, 10, we're good. We're good. Well done. It's Strange New Worlds. Now that we're reviewing another season of it,
Uh-huh.
it has this rhythm. The first few episodes are like good, but not like something I'm gonna come back to. And then it like just gets into these episodes where it's like, what the are we doing in Star Trek?
It does tend to find its stride. Granted,
Yeah,
like last season, like Ad Astra Persperial was like what season?
that's
Was
true.
it like episode
Yeah,
2?
that was a 10. Yeah, that was episode, and that was a 10 as well.
Yeah, yeah. So like there are certain times where they can but granted, like if they do another court episode within this, it's more likely that I'm probably going to give it a 10 too.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
if I'm being honest with myself, like because I haven't seen a court episode within Star Trek that I didn't think was immaculate.
Yeah.
So I feel like that Star Trek does those type of episodes well.
Yeah.
But this doing something different. That is the key.
Creative, different, and they used it to bring out the heart
Yes.
of the episode
Yes.
and put you in a different
Yes.
position as a viewer. Like I loved it.
Yes. And I mean, I gave it a 10 out of 10 too. I can't like I'm not going to belabor this point. It was a 10 out of 10 for me because they went a totally different direction than what they've ever done with any Star Trek episode.
Yeah.
Like ever. That's saying a lot. There's a ton of Star Trek episodes.
Yeah.
They went a different direction than what a Star Trek episode would normally do. And they stuck the landing hard.
Yeah.
It was like a oh, they stuck the landing. Oh, great job. Like no. It was like, oh my God, did you see that?
Yeah.
So I definitely I put in my notes, my last note was this gave me Ad Astra Persperia vibes.
Yeah. Ad Astra. Yeah. That it does give that vibes because it's talking about justice and what is fair. Why are we here? What are we doing? What's our purpose? And yeah, like, and the documentary format was just, I don't know, it was perfect.
It was perfect for this.
Like,
I would have to agree that it was perfect for this.
yeah.
Now, Now that you said that, we do have to point out one thing.
Okay.
There was a subset that did not like this episode.
We stumbled across it. Can I since I'm here, can I hit the
Yeah. Go right ahead. Yeah,
Okay,
that
this
one
one here?
Yeah, that one
Okay.
right here. Yeah, go ahead.
There are 4 lights!
Okay. All right. This is the first time that Patrick actually knew what my "there are 4 lights" moment was. All right.
I got to hit the button.
Normally he doesn't know, and we try to do this in a way to like it's like a throwing off one another to like get our pure raw of how we felt about it in that moment on on
Yeah.
the cast. So when we looked up how the audience looked at this episode,
Yeah.
we saw a rating scale between 10 all the way down to 1. 10s were like, 10s, granted, were the highest. They were the highest percentage at 13.7%. But the next highest was a 1 at 12.9%.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
So, and I'm not, and I want y'all to hear me on this. I'm not saying this in a way that like, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like there are things that some people like and some people really like. Like there is that dichotomy there. Like, so I'm not even going to even throw that out like you should have loved this. I'm not saying it as this. But here's my "there are 4 lights" moment. To say that something is a 1,
Right.
let's put this into perspective. Okay? To say that any media that you consume is a 1 out of 10 or even a 0 out of 10 is to say that that is the worst crap that you have ever seen in your whole entire life.
Yeah.
It is basically saying that this is by far the worst thing that you have ever seen. And I would truly challenge that. There is no way that you can say that this particular episode was the worst Star Trek episode that you have ever seen when there are worse, much worse Star Trek episodes.
As I always point back to, there's an episode of Voyager
Man,
where
the salamander?
Janeway and Tom Paris become salamanders and have relations and offspring in that episode.
Mm-hmm.
And some of you MFs didn't give that a 1.
Yep. There's also an episode in The Next Generation where they portray black people in a
There's a very racist episode.
pretty awful light that just about everyone on cast has gone on record saying that it was by far the worst episode of TV that they've ever shot.
Yeah.
Like those you give 0s and 1s. Like if you said those episodes was a 0 or 1, I can't say
Wouldn't
anything.
fault you.
I can't.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can say. You're right. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, but there are some segments of the fan base that'll bend over backwards claiming Tom Paris gave Catherine Janeway that good salamander,
Oh my god.
you know,
Oh no.
and rate it like a 7, and then turn around and because this was a documentary style episode that challenged Starfleet values and things like that, it made you think about it, made you think a little bit about it, and because you had to think a little bit about it, you gave it a 1.
I mean, I get the whole fact that like documentaries are not everyone's cup of tea. My wife, Lord bless her, like she doesn't like documentaries. Like it's
That's
every
interesting. She was watching.
it's every now and then she finds a documentary that she does like.
Okay.
It's every now and then, but like from what I've learned about her, like being together, like she doesn't fully love documentaries. It's only if it's a topic that she's really interested in. Like I will watch a documentary even if it's a topic that I'm not interested in, just be like, "Huh, that's interesting."
Yeah,
Like,
that's basically like my YouTube watching.
yeah, that's basically
For the
my
most
YouTube
part.
watching.
Yeah.
So, like, I get that part of it, but so this goes down to the musical episode from last season,
Mm-hmm.
where like
Yeah.
you gave it a
I gave it a
high
10.
mark. I gave it a middle mark with a 7 out of 10, but my brother gave it what, a 3 out of 10, I believe. And that is like, okay, that's fair. He doesn't like musicals.
But he still didn't give it a 1.
He didn't give it a 1. That's my point.
Yeah. Like,
That is my point. You don't get, like, the only time that something deserves a 0 or a 1 is if it is the worst thing that you have, as far as video games played, or as far as movies or shows that you have seen
yeah.
in your whole entire life. There is a video game called Big Mother Truckers. Those who are video gamers know this particular video game very well. It is by far the worst video game that was ever produced, ever. Like, ever.
Okay.
And Patrick, we're gonna watch something offline,
Okay.
just so you like see, like, you're gonna die. Like, I'm
Okay.
just
Got
like,
it.
the levels of how terrible this game is like
Okay.
hilarious. But that's a game that you give a 0 or a 1 to,
Yeah.
but you don't give other games that same level. But like, the main reason that made this game terrible was because it was like, it was underdeveloped. Whoever developed this game didn't give a flying flip of whether it worked after the fact. Uh, didn't care if it even like made sense. Period. Like,
Yeah.
so like, when, okay, I'll say this: when Cyberpunk first came out, that's probably like the best way that I can
Yeah.
draw to this. When Cyberpunk first came out, and how buggy and how awfully it was to play, especially on last gen and older technology. If somebody gave that a 0 or 1, I couldn't be upset with them.
I
Like,
ended up, I ended up buying that game for like $10
yeah,
because it crashed so hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like, that's one of those games where I was just like, okay, I get it, but after it was like fully fixed, you saw like what type of game like it's a phenomenal game. Like, after it's been fixed and everything, but when it first came out, before all the fixes and everything,
Yeah.
I I couldn't hold you. Like, if you said you gave it a 1, like, dude, I feel you. Like, you said you gave it a 0, I feel you. I ain't got nothing to like refute on that one.
Yeah.
So that's my issue here. Like, you cannot watch this and not say that like, this episode speak truly to the heart of Starfleet.
Yeah. Like, watching the episode, so behind the scenes, sitting here on the couch, I was looking for just anybody who just bullet pointed recapped the episode, and that's when I came across that IMDb had a 6.5 out of 10 on this episode,
Yeah.
and I was like, how could that happen? And then when we looked at the breakdown, that's when we saw, oh, there's people review bombing it, and then I asked Perplexity, like, what are people not liking about this? And a lot of it is documentary style format.
And I get that. Like, I get that. Like, that's probably not your style of media. Like, that's not everybody's cup of tea. But
Okay,
to
but I'm not.
immediately give it a 0 or 1.
Well, this is where I'm getting with the 0 or 1.
Uh-huh.
Because I think in my reviews, for format, right? Like, I don't
Mhm.
like the second parters. I don't like zombies. I think I've at most like docked it like a point or a half a point at the end of the day after talking to you about it. I understand that everyone's entitled to their opinion. I don't have for it, but there's a part of me,
Mhm.
especially as someone who makes stuff, and I know it's like business stuff, so it's not viewed as creative, but I have to make creative choices.
You do.
Grow up. Grow up. That is what I'm saying to you. Grow up. Okay? Okay, it wasn't every Star Trek episode you've ever seen before. It was something different. It was something creative. It's something that made you think a little bit. It made you uncomfortable. Grow up.
You are saying this way too nicely right now.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
and
well,
I understand. I truly understand why you're doing it. I appreciate you for doing that. But I'm going to break the seal for you. Grow the fuck up, okay?
yes, yeah. You gave it a 0 or a 1 because you didn't like documentary style format episodes, and I'm just like, you sat there and watched The Office. You sat there and watched Parks and Rec. Like, I, grow up, understand that we're not here to spoon feed you the same Star Trek you can watch umpteen seasons, what, 14, 30 seasons of, or from other series or whatever every time. Like,
Things
they're here to,
change.
yeah, things change, and they're here to do something new, and it's not one. Give it a 6 if you didn't like it, the format.
I mean, I feel like the lowest possible grade that you can give it without calling it the worst media ever exists is like a 3 or 4. Like 3 or 4, I'll give you that.
If the documentary style messed with you that badly, drop it down there. But I don't get how you get there, and I would encourage you to grow up.
I do feel like that's a drastic drop for the style.
This episode defended Starfleet and justified its place in the Federation from a point of view of someone who was skeptical. And if you didn't get what was going on and you didn't like the format, grow up.
Grow the fuck up.
Sorry that Star Trek's not going to be everything that it ever was to you ever again. I guarantee you the next episode we'll get to hear the Admiral April and Pike conversation that you missed out on this one, and you had to fill in the blanks and think about it yourself. Like, I can't do it. I must stop because I can do this for like till 2 in the morning.
The crazy thing is, for a lot, at least I feel like for people to be a Star Trek fan, you have to have some level of imagination.
Yeah.
And some level of cognitive dissonance in a way.
Yeah.
To like not fully, oh well, that doesn't make sense, and da 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 da. Like you have to suspend your belief a lot of times in certain situations, and to understand why they are going this particular direction with this particular episode.
Oh yeah, if you're one of the people who are like, well, it doesn't make sense why Starfleet would ever do document. Starfleet, to channel Steve Sives, Starfleet doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
You can make it.
It's not a real organization. It's purely fictional.
Yeah.
Like this.
You can make it do whatever you want it to do when you're allowed to write for Star Trek. It can do whatever you imagine it to do. That's how fiction works.
That is exactly how fiction works.
So please grow up and stop hating this episode for no reason.
And I won't belabor this point any more than that. But as we come to a close, I do have to say that we do have to end it on that wonderful Starfleet quote.
Yes.
That Captain Picard said, because I feel like a lot of our listeners need to fully listen, truly listen to this quote.
If you gave this episode a 1, I want you to listen to it, and I want you to say it to yourself, and then I want you to listen to it again.
And absorb it into your spirit.
It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness. That is life.
Dude, that is life. That is life. Get over it. Move forward. It is not the singular thing that you need to point at within your life. Move forward. Grow the fuck up. And that's how we're ending this episode today.
On a positive, 10 out of 10. The vast majority of folks were with us on this one. So we love y'all. Them other ones?
Yeah, they can do a number of things. Like, comment, and subscribe, of course. And please join us next time for another episode, well, another review, I should say, of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Y'all have a wonderful and beautiful week.